And what is likely to happen next on that front? When are elections due, and how legitimate are elections in Iran?
Yeah, that's a good question. So we know that the voter turnout was like 49% at the last election 3 years ago. So according to the Constitution, they have to have an election within 50 days if the president dies or is incapacitated or removed for whatever reason. So I think it could go two ways. We could have a review that people are generally unhappy when their freedoms are restricted. So it could be someone who, and I hesitate to use this word liberal, but at least maybe tolerant within the kind of rules of what's allowed in a theocratic state like Iran. But because of the war in Gaza, we may see a hardliner coming in. So it'll be interesting to see who the candidates are, what the rhetoric is. So we may get someone liberal if they sort of want to make domestic politics a little easier and locals a bit happier. But on the sort of foreign policy front, we might see someone hardline coming in saying, look, now's the time to stay strong and stand up to Israel and the United States and other hostile powers. So we'll have to watch this space. It's still early days. So we'll know pretty soon in the next coming weeks who the candidates are.
And Nathan, what's your understanding of just how divided the population is? We saw in that earlier report some people getting out the fireworks celebrating the president's death.
Yeah, it's a good question. So that level of celebration, I guess, will send a signal to the regime. And so the regime's all about regime survival. So when we go back to 2002 and George Bush's State of the Union speech about the axis of evil, when he mentioned Iran, Iraq, and North Korea, the only one we intervened in, I say we as the West, was in Iraq. And it was a Pyrrhic victory, although we got rid of the Ba'athist Party and Saddam Hussein. It did take a long time to stabilise the region, and in some ways it actually got worse with the rise of ISIL, the Islamic State. But South Korea and Iran have continued. So, yeah, I don't think we're going to see much change. And the big powers, China and Russia, will very much be keeping that country as stable as possible. They want allies, particularly Russia. It's becoming more and more isolated in the world because of the war in the Ukraine. So, there's a lot of larger, wider geopolitical factors at play. And I guess for the region as well, they want stability. If there is some sort of internal uprising and stuff like that, that can spill over. So we'll see. But even though people are celebrating, there's not going to be a revolution in 1979. That's for sure. It would take, parts of the military and large sections of the community to uprise, and that's just, we're not seeing that. It's localized. And so, it'll be interesting. But the regime will be watching this and seeing, okay, how can we improve the lives of our peoples? Because ultimately they don't want a revolution.
Dr. Nathan Franklin, appreciate your analysis. Thank you.
Thank you.